Okay, good day to the viewers, especially to Mr. Craig. So in this particular video, I'm going to discuss about the types of assessments. So what are the types of assessments? Actually, there are three types of assessment. One is the diagnostic assessment, diagnostic rather. Second is the formative assessment. And the last and the third one is the summative assessment. So what are the use of these three and what are the advantages of these three assessments? Okay, so without further ado, let's get it on. So for the first assessment is what we call the diagnostic assessment. So you might be wondering, why do teachers in our high school years give us diagnostic exams or diagnostic tests in the very first day of our class? It might be shocking, but it is really important for you as a student, for us as a student, right? And for them as well as teachers. Why? This particular assessment will be applied before the giving of instructions. Why? Because teachers need to determine the strength and weaknesses of this particular student. They are not going to give this particular topic or lessons or activity if they did not get any information about these students' performances in their past years of schooling, right? So that's how important diagnostic assessment is. So it's not really be part of your final grade, but it's just, an information for the teachers to influence their way of giving instructions. So here are the examples of the diagnostic assessments. For the second assessment is what we call the formative assessment. And this will mainly fall during the instruction. So why during the instruction? So what is in the during the instruction? So formative assessment help teachers understand student while teaching, and this will somehow give them a knowledge that they need to adjust their strategies of teaching. So in this particular assessment, it will help the teachers track the knowledge of the student, whether the student needs to be improved or the student needs to be cared of, something like that. So it's mainly measuring the knowledge of the student, whether it's growing or developing well or not developing well. So this is the example for the formative assessment. Now, there are different examples of formative assessment, and one of it is portfolio, which is the most common assessment that a teacher can give to the student. So what is portfolio? So portfolio is a collection of the works of the student, and mainly this will also help the teachers to measure their students' progress in their academic journey, whether the student is doing well or the student is not doing well in their class. So this is the advantages of formative assessment. This will guide teachers to influence their strategy of teaching. So it's not only for the students, but it is also for the teachers' way of teaching their class. Now, for the last assessment will be called summative assessment, and this will be applied after the instruction. So unlike the formative assessment, this assessment will be evaluation type of assessment. So this will be for the students alone. Students will be given a final grade for their final presentation. So summative assessment will help teachers uh, measure the students' progress as an assessment of learning and provide data as well for the leaders and the school districts, whether the system of education or the system of their school is really that productive that can improve the students' learning, something like that. There are a lot of examples for summative assessment, and one of it is recording a podcast, writing a script for a short play, and producing an independent study project. But that will be based upon the instruction of the teachers or what they have learned from their previous discussions or their previous classes. And of course, in this particular assessment, they will be given a final grade, final feedback, and evaluation whether they have learned something or they have not learned something from their classes. And that will be all for the last assessment, the summative assessment. For a recap, there are three types of assessment. One is the diagnostic assessment, which will be applied before the instruction. The formative assessment will be applied during the instruction. And lastly, the summative assessment, which will be applied after the instruction. So those are the three types of assessment. And that will be all for this video. Thank you guys, and thanks for watching.